Astros ruined Canada Day for the Blue Jays, though. The offense, quite frankly, wasn't very good. They beat the Yariel Rodriguez guy, who the Astros were in on in the offseason, who's been dreadful, actually. And he had his best start of his career against the Astros today. He gave up 1 run on 2 hits and 6 2/3, punched out 6, but he got outdueled by Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's dominance continues. Little shaky in the second inning. Basically, was it 1 out? Was able to get out of it, though. Got a pop-up, got out of the inning. He went 6 shutout innings, just 2 hits, strikes out 5, and Hunter Brown again proves that he is a top-of-the-rotation starter in Major League Baseball.
God, literally, where would you be without Hunter Brown in the starting rotation? For where he's come from to where he is, it's kind of like he's a microcosm of the team. The fact that he got off to such a horrible start and there was discussions about, sending him down and being done with him and him just being a relief pitcher. And now looking at what he's done over the last 8 starts, and you got to tip your cap and say, dude's been a stud for you. And has helped carry you from a pitching perspective with all the injuries that they've had to persevere through. He's been fantastic. I mean, you mentioned that second inning, even the fact that he had basically a guaranteed double play ball hit back at him and he dropped it a la Fromber, but it didn't hurt him because he pitched his way out of it. Just shows you, how much he's developed as a pitcher, no matter how strong his arm is to throw the ball hard. Just phenomenal again from him to have, even with 3 walks today, the control wasn't what it's been, but 3 walks, 2 hits, 6 innings. What do you have, 5 strikeouts?
Yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah. He's been really good. Like, he and Renel Blanco have all of a sudden become a pretty formidable 1-2 in Major League Baseball. Like, if we would have said at the start of the year that on July 1st, the top 2 in your rotation is going to be Hunter Brown and Renel Blanco, we would have thought that it's disaster. It is awful. What happened to Fromber? What happened to Verlander? Well, it was a neck. But they've become
even
like
Javier.
Yeah, Javier's out for the year.
Yeah.
Urquidy's never coming back. Hunter Brown and Renel Blanco, I'm not going to say it's the best 1-2 in all of baseball. I'd have to go do a little digging, and I probably don't believe it's the best 1-2 in all of baseball. But is it a top 5 1 and 2 in all of baseball?
It's in the conversation. If it's not top 5, it's definitely top 10. But yeah, I think that's the most intriguing thing. At the start of the year, if you told me that those are your top 2, and I'm going, well, what about JV? Well, what about Fromber? What about the fact that you've got Javier and you got him under contract and he's always been a lights out guy? I'd have said this team is nowhere near first place and they're probably really, really struggling. Not the exact opposite, that they're the hottest team in baseball, and these 2 guys are just pushing.
Yeah, he was great again. 6 shutout. Rafael Montero, we were talking poorly about Rafael Montero. Branham foot and mouth. A 1-2-3 inning for Rafael Montero in the 7th. Brian Abreu tried to give it away in the 8th. Another leadoff walk. He loaded the bases with 1 out. George Springer's soft line drive to Alex Bregman, and then Varsho hit a laser at Mauricio Dubon, who picked it up on a tough short hop. Got the out at first. Abreu was able to pitch out of it. Astros got some insurance in the 9th. Yordan Alvarez hit a 2-run homer, and they needed the insurance because Josh Hader gave up a gopher ball. But you win 3-1, start off a 4-game series with the victory. You're now 3-1 in this 10-game road trip. You're half to the amount that you need to win to have a successful road trip. So, yeah, the offense wasn't great today, but, get in late, early start. Maybe there's a little bit of compassion you can give to the Astros for that, and you win. So it's hard to be too upset.
The distraction of Canada Day?
Yeah, they were
got off to a late start because of it.
Yeah.
That's I think the bigger thing is the rain delay and getting out of New York late. Though it's not that big of a plane ride, yet still you get in late and have to get right to the field basically in the morning to get ready for an early start. You can understand if they're a little bit groggy. But at the same time, you got what you needed out of Hunter Brown. I was extremely cringeworthy of Montero. Didn't think that it was going to be Abreu that gave me the heart attack, but somehow he did his magic again, worked your way out of it. And you got enough, like you said. Hader's still not great like he was because he gave up a home run and he's been giving up some hits, but he got you out and they got a win.
Good to see Yordan homer, obviously, because you needed it. And he had a hot June, so, keep it going. Guy, I think he's Canadian. Pump the brakes on Hunter Brown. He's faced the worst teams in baseball this past month. Okay, well, he's been really good since May 5th.
Didn't he beat another good pitcher in Skubal, but didn't he beat the Orioles?
No, he did not. He didn't pitch.
Who was the other ace that he went up against that he...
Well, he beat Skubal whenever they played Detroit, and then he beat Crochet for the White Sox.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Crochet.
So, here are the teams that he's played since he added the sinker, because everybody gives him credit since he added the sinker, which coming into today, he's pitched in 10 games, 9 starts, 57 and a third since adding the sinker, and had a 2.20 ERA since adding the sinker. So the teams that he's faced since adding the sinker: May 5th, Seattle, at Detroit, Milwaukee, Angels, at Seattle, Minnesota, at the Angels, Detroit, White Sox, Colorado, and then today the Blue Jays. It's not necessarily the most
Milwaukee.
dominant teams in baseball.
2 Seattles and Milwaukee are probably the best teams.
I mean, Seattle's offense is dreadful.
That's true.
So
Well, I mean, but
there
on
might
the
be
flip
some
side,
validity.
you say, there is some, but yeah, at the same time, you also have to say, you just pitch against the guys that you're scheduled to pitch against, and that's what you face. But you still won the games.
Yeah, I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm all gas, no brakes, especially on Canada Day. So yeah, I'm not going to pump the brakes on that.
Only 3 out of getting there by the 8th.
Yeah, they have 3 out. Mariners don't play today, and then I think Seattle starts the series tomorrow against Baltimore.
Ooh.
I think.
They
do.
That would be dicey.
Yeah,
At
it's
Camden,
it's in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
It's in Seattle. While I know this pace is not sustainable, where are all the fire Espada people now?
I think we talked about this in the last 7 days, the fact that winning cures everything. But at the same time, we were not quick to blame Espada early on because there were so many other things to point a finger at. Abreu was awful in being force-fed to you, and that whole debacle. Bregman was awful for way longer than even the slowest of slow starter guys were at, to where fingers were being pointed at him. They were finding and creating ways to lose on a game-by-game basis to where, yes, we knew that there was going to be growing pains and Espada was going to make some mistakes, but you couldn't put it on him with all the other more relevant and more realistic people and things to blame for how bad this team was playing.
Yeah, you're not seeing much of the criticism anymore. I think some of it was warranted a bit early. Junior Broncos Espada was put in a bad spot by having to play Abreu. We can literally blame Jose Abreu for everything. I think the Astros are what? Is it like 12-3 now since they released?
Since the release?
Jose Abreu? I think it's 12-3
because it was a pretty
nuts.
good number just in the record they had when he went to West Palm, and then the record that he had.
It was 15-10 in West Palm. I know it started 19-2. I think it's 13-3 since they released Jose Abreu, and then when you do the math, 28 and 13. 28-13 when Jose Abreu roughly is not on the 26-man roster. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to it, but I mean, you can point it to Abreu, you can point it to how bad Bregman was for an extended period of time and the injuries. And yet, here they are.
Junior Bronco said Abreu made the bullpen suck. Which one? Abreu's not been good in the last couple of days. The good Jose Abreu. Sensei says we need arms. It's not a Joe fault. I think the arms have actually been carrying you. The arms have been pretty stinking good for the last month and a half.
Aside from today and Friday night, the offense has awakened to not only get hits and hit for average, but hit in key situations enough for you to put crooked numbers on the board too. And now you got the in sync version of the offense doing some things while the pitching continues to be good. And the end result is now what, 8 in a row?
What?
How many? 8 out of 10.
You talking about series?
No, just their last 8 to 10 games haven't.
Well, they had won 7 in a row
they lost
entering
Friday
the
night.
Met
That's
series.
Right. So they won
10 of their last 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, the streaking Astros.